right, so hi guys. Hopefully this is working and my mic issues aren't terrible because my mic has been fighting with me aggressively the past month. But today I have a very special guest in my convention series is a buddy of mine, Vexingly Yours. Vexy, say hi.
Hello! Hope
Yes.
everyone's doing well.
Yep, this is Vexingly Yours, and I would like to first ask, what is your name, if you're comfortable, or you could just say your username. I know we already said Vexy, but if you want to go by something else, and your pronouns, just so people know and we can get everything proper.
So my government name is Candace, but I do prefer to go by Vexy. You can find my government name on like my printed works and everything, but if you're actually talking to me, I prefer like Vexy.
Oh, I'm the same way.
Pronouns,
Like, mine's on my card and my watermark, so I'm like, people know my name, but I'm like, please call me Michi. Don't call me Michelle.
yeah. And my pronouns are they, them.
All right, thank you. So, first, let's get started. What kind of artist are you?
So I am primarily a comic artist. I actually have 3 web comics, 2 right now, but tomorrow I am launching my 3rd one. And I do a bunch of other art that is like fan art. I do stickers. I am making mugs, coasters. Like I am doing like all sorts of different kinds of merch. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades, really. But primarily, I want to say I'm a comic artist.
Oh yeah, and we're definitely going to have all of their links in the description down below, and they're going to be above mine, so you can make sure to check them out, because Vexy is a great bitch, and I love them. I met them for the first time at San Japan 2018, right? That was where me and Holly met you for the first time?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, so, but I also really wanted Vexy to be a part of the con series, because this person has done so many cons compared to anybody else I ever knew of. So I was like, hey, can I like interview you for the series? I think it'd be great. And so we could help get some stuff out there and help some people out who are nervous. But the first thing I would like to ask, if you remember, what was your very first con that you ever did, your artist convention?
My very first convention was Delta H Con in Houston, and that was in 2016, I want to say.
Really?
Yeah, it was the summer after I graduated from college, actually. Their tables are pretty cheap. They were like $120. I also did it with a friend. My friend got her own table, and I got my own table because I wanted to see how I could handle a full table on my own, even though I was just starting out. And things went pretty well. I think, like, obviously could have been better. I didn't have as much. I had the first chapter of Forgotten Roots in book format. Not the first volume, but the first chapter. So it was, like, smaller than my big volume that I have now.
Oh, yeah, I bought your big volume when I met you.
Yes. Yeah, the first chapter is actually, like, much thinner than that. Like, if you just, like, pinch the first chapter in the volume, like, that's how big the original book was.
That's great though. What is some advice you can give for people who are tabling by themselves? Because I know you are nuts, and at least the cons I've seen you do everything by yourself.
Yeah, don't do it by yourself. So, here's the thing. So, like, you can have a table that is all your stuff, but I highly recommend bringing a friend because, even at my first con, like, I have, like, a full gaggle of friends that I drag with me everywhere. Sometimes they don't make it with me to cons, but to my first con, it was like all my friends were there helping me and supporting me. And I would highly suggest bringing along a friend that is willing to like man the table for you so you can walk away, get food, look around at everybody else's stuff, just like give yourself a break. Because like being able to do basic needs is so freaking valuable.
You would be so surprised. I learned that the hard way. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But I learned that the hard way with just go to the bathroom. I learned I had to sip my water because I am a thirsty hoe and I like drinking a lot of water. So I was like, oh, I cannot go to the bathroom as often as I do. So I need to like ration water so I don't go to the bathroom as much, just so I have someone at my table.
Yeah, no, absolutely same. I remember, this is actually kind of unfortunate. There was, I want to say it was Mini Con I think 2019, yeah. Mini Con 2019. I was by myself, and it was such a crowded con. It was a really good con, but it was super crowded, and I could not step away to get food or water or anything. I usually bring like water with me to a con, but I completely forgot because it was like a 1-day con and I was like focusing on what
Oh
I needed to
no.
bring. So I had to tweet like, hey, is anyone at the con that is like willing to bring me water or something? I'll like give you like a free sticker or whatever you want. Um so that's another thing. Like, bring your own water if the convention venue allows it. And I want to say a
Wait, are
lot
there
of them will be okay
wait,
with
hold on. Are
water.
there convention venues that don't allow you to bring your own water? Because I've seen
There's
them allow that, like, don't allow outside food, but I've never seen outside water, really.
I haven't seen that, but like it's just kind of a just in case because I know some places are like super finicky about that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, the next one, if you're comfortable sharing it, what was your worst con that you're comfortable sharing? If it was like terrible, what's your second worst then? Could either be financially or just all in all terrible. I'll leave it up to you to pick.
So I feel bad because this it was a cute little con. It's called RevelCon. I actually have an Artist Alley review on this convention.
Oh, is it on your YouTube? I'll make sure to link it if that's the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be in my playlist for my Artist Alley reviews. It's called RevelCon. It's also in Houston. It's a small convention, but it was not a convention I probably should have signed up for and probably should have done more research on because RevelCon was a convention that was like kind of geared towards the older crowd. And like when I say older crowd, I mean like people who were into like Starsky and Hutch and like old Star Trekkies.
Oh,
and
so
stuff like
okay,
that.
okay. So like Gen Xers, you would say?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like a lot of the people there, like they were older, like they had like graying hair and everything.
Okay,
like,
okay.
They were older people, so they were not interested in seeing my cute little Pokemon art or my Sailor Moon art. Because I even had people say like, "Oh, what is this from?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is the crowd that I'm catering
Oh
to
no,
right
that
now."
must have been terrible.
It was awful. I cannot remember. I thankfully did profit, but I cannot say I profited a lot. And the only reason I probably was able to profit is because the like Artist Alley liaison person, like she came by and like bought like $60 worth of for me.
Oh my
and that's
God.
probably the only reason I was able to like profit at all.
Okay.
I would never do that con again.
Yeah, that's why I always tell people, I'm like, research your cons, people. Don't, because I've seen like so many like young artists out there who are like, I just want to work a con, any con, so they'll take a con that'll take them. And I've heard horror stories like that where they're like, it's totally the wrong venue, or it's something like an art walk where like they're the only one with like anime nerd or weeb merch while everyone else has
Yeah.
like paintings or woodworking. So like, you know, they definitely stand out in the crowd and probably not in the best way.
Yeah, I've seen like a few people kind of like that at like art walks. There was actually an art walk that was happening in San Antonio like during San Japan, and there I saw like one person who was actually selling like nerdy stuff and everyone else was selling like traditional stuff like
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with art walks, by the way.
yeah.
We're not saying that in a say. We're just saying like the kind of stuff that like Vexy and I do probably wouldn't be as popular in an art walk unless there were already other people doing stuff like that.
Yeah, like if it's themed towards like doing stuff like that
Yeah.
or something.
Because like, well, my merch is more geared towards games because I tend to play more games than I watch more anime. That's still in like the nerd culture bubble. You know?
Yeah.
If that makes like sense for what I'm trying to say.
I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. All right, let's see. The next question here. Yeah, look at me and my questions, trying to be a professional interviewer here. I hope it's working out. Here we go.
You got this.
Oh, thank you. How many conventions have you done in total, if you can just remember? Or give a vague. Because you do a lot. You're like nuts. In a good way.
I am nuts. Oh my god. So it's hard to say because I've been doing conventions since 2016.
Yeah.
Obviously, 2020 was like a disaster. I got to do one con during 2020 and that was it. I did a virtual con, but Other than that, how many cons total? I have to say like 40 to 50 at least. I
That's
wish I could like
yeah, but that's a lot in the course of what, 5? No, 6 years,
yeah.
if my math is right. Editing Michi, slap it on screen if I'm dumb. Um,
Sounds like 5 years.
yeah. Now here we go. You also, until 2020, you also had a full time job on top of doing cons, right?
I sure can did.
Any advice for people who aren't? Because I know there are a lot of people who are like, I would love to do cons, but I have a full time job. Is there any advice you can give to those people?
So the best advice I can give is not even just like day job wise. I would even say like get a planner because that way you can figure out how to easily split up your time from after, coming home from your day job to working on art. As far as like off days, it also kind of depends on like you having a really good relationship with your job and how willing they are to like work with you on the fact that you're going to be away for a full weekend and maybe even a day after that so you can have time to recuperate from selling stuff for the past 2 or 3 days.
Oh yeah.
So I was really really thankful that like my job was willing to give me the days off. Of course I had like days stockpiled already from like just not using them. But just having a really good relationship with your job. I know it's not easy for some people or really anyone. But making sure you like call those days off like way in advance. Like say you get a con, you like sign up for a con, you've paid for it, you paid for your hotel. Like don't wait till the last minute to let your job know, hey, I'm gonna be gone. Like I would tell my people like months in advance, like, hey, I'm gonna be gone to this con for like the weekend and I won't be back till like Tuesday because I need time to calm down on Monday. And it's not easy. It's not easy having a full-time job and doing cons. It really is not. It's pretty tough.
Oh yeah, no. Because I wanted to excuse me, talk about that for a minute on just the rest days because I made that mistake for the first con I ever did. So the first con I did, I've talked about this, was Sanjaban 2018. I split a table with Holly Brown, one of my best buddies. But I had never done anything like this before, and not even just an anime con. I also flew out to Texas, so I was lucky. My first year, my parents ended up paying for my plane ticket because it was like a big moment for me. So I had my plane ticket taken care of, and I believe Holly had the hotel, and she didn't want me to split it with her. So what ended up happening was I flew in the like on day 0 of the con of setup day, and so I flew in. Holly and her mom picked me up. We went right to San Antonio. We went right into the con. We then after we got the table set up and some food, we went to the hotel and just kind of chilled out for a bit. And then I worked the 3 days. I think San Japan's 3 days, right? It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's three days. Yeah.
Days.
And then, but on the last day, biggest mistake I've ever made. On the last day was my day back home. So we had to finish the con, pack everything up, get everything go, and they had to rush me to the airport. There was no time because I didn't plan properly for travel days. And when I got home, I was so exhausted and so tired because I didn't just even have like, we literally had to pack down and rush to the airport because I did not plan for a rest day.
Yeah, no, that's very important to do. Plan for a rest day. I have also kind of made that sort of similar mistake.
Sorry for that, guys. Life is great when your studio's in your living room. So, Vexy, we were talking about your worst not taking account for travel days situation.
Yeah, so I drove all the way from ASIN like immediately after the show. What was supposed to be like an 16 to 18 hour trip ended up being about 20 because like I had to stop because I was like falling asleep on the road every so often. I closed my eyes for a couple minutes and then just kept going after I felt like I was rested enough. Had my Red Bull, but by the time I got to my house, I was like shaking. I was actually shaking when I got in the door. It
Oh
was
my god,
awful. So
really?
yeah, account for like travel days, rest days, just like don't hurt yourself for conventions, guys. Like I understand that you need to make money, but your health is so important.
Oh yeah, especially like once you get older, that stuff really does add up. I know it's like such a stereotypical thing to say, but it really, really does. I did not realize how much I needed a rest day until the next year for San Japan. I made sure I flew out a day early and I left a day later, and it was just a world of difference. And
Absolutely.
it really, really does. And I am lucky and I am self employed, so like when I do cons, I can afford to take a rest day, but I know not everybody can. But Vexy recently became a free time. Wow, a full time, a free time, full time freelance comic book artist, and well, your whole repertoire.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, like I used to be a teacher's aide, and I loved my job. I love kids. I still love kids. I don't want any, but I love kids. I don't, after everything that happened with COVID, not really going to get too much into that, but I felt better staying at home and doing my own thing. So since I quit, basically, I've been just like going super hard on like the art shit.
And something else I have here is, what would you recommend is a number one thing that all artists should have at a convention? Like, whether it be a merch thing, a type of display, what is like just, I know there's a lot, but one thing you think would be really helpful for any artist working in Artist Alley?
So are we talking like just like stuff to sell? Because I was about to say, bring some fucking water.
I mean, yeah, stay hydrated, man. I guess both. Yeah, both. Just stuff in general and stuff to sell, I guess, would be a thing. Yeah. And me writing down a vague question did not help me in this situation.
No, you're good. So like, I'm gonna come back to like the merch side in a second, and just like still like push harder on like take care of yourself thing. Bring water. Some other important things that I have with me. So like I actually recently made a like bullet journal completely dedicated to conventions.
That's really smart. That's really smart. Because I currently have just an in general bullet journal, so it makes sense that because of how many you do, that you would have one just for conventions.
Yeah, I just like made a new one for like 2021 and onward, because I had a journal like completely dedicated to it, but the pages it filled up, so I'm just moving on with like a cute little bullet journal. And I recently developed some convention stickers that are helpful for people who are doing conventions period, or trade shows or anything like that. They're just little stickers that you can put on your paper if you are the kind of person to like write stuff down instead of like do stuff digitally. Like if you input your sales and stuff digitally, this doesn't apply to you, but I have convention stickers that you can like print out and cut yourself and just stick into a bullet journal or a journal or whatever, and it helps you keep up with your expenses, things you sold out on, things you need to restock, how much you spent on food.
That's actually really important, though. That's really important, because that's something big I learned my first con was I did make profit a lot more than I was expecting at the time, but I was very dumb. And I was like, oh, well, I made all this money. I'm going to buy a lot of stuff and buy a lot of food. And then I came home, and I probably came home with like $200. Which is because because I didn't like budget properly. And the next year I'm like, not going to do that again.
Yep.
Because, yeah, that's a big thing. I don't think people realize how expensive con food is. Like, it's expensive.
So expensive. And it sucks even more if it's a convention venue that doesn't allow you to bring your own food.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have been to a lot of cons that will allow you to bring food. But I know like just so many that will not. And it's like hard to get like food delivered to you or just like bring it in. It's a nightmare.
Because I've heard of some artists being like, oh yeah, I just Uber Eats some food here. but the driver usually has a hard time because it's a convention center in most cases, you know? So half the time you're having to leave your booth to go to, like, the front of a convention center if you're not in, like, a small area or a hotel. So then you're just wandering around for a while.
Trying to find your driver, yep.
Mm-hmm. I would also recommend don't get food that needs to be refrigerated, because you're going to be there a long time. I don't think people realize how long Artist Alley actually is, because you have to be there before it's done, and then you have to stay there after closing.
Yeah, most artist alleys, they tend to last from at least until, like, 9 o'clock in the morning to maybe around, like, 5 or 6 in the evening, and then you have to account for time, like, setting up, so you're probably there maybe, like, 8:30, and then you're probably leaving, like, a little bit after, you know, everything closes.
Yeah. Obviously, you don't have to. No one's forcing that. But it does look a little odd. I hate saying it that way. But I'm sure we've all seen the late goers that, not like you were in a rush, because I've had it happen where my friends were, like, in a rush. But you'll see, like, the person that has, like, no table made and the con started, and then they're making their table during the con, because they didn't do it on day 0 or anything. And then that's just time that's eating into your sales.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like, I don't like to think poorly of people who do that, but I know, like, you know, everyone has their own agenda, and also, like, you don't know everyone's story necessarily. Yeah. But it does reflect poorly on your neighbors when you do come late and set up.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure you know this, but, like, a lot of people would think having an empty table next to you would be a good thing. It's not.
It's not.
It's really not. Like, people would think, like, oh, that means there's less there. That means you stand out in a bad way. Because now you have, like, a lot of people have to improvise and be like, okay, well, now I have to put stuff on the sides that I wasn't planning on having now. Because now they're going to just see, like, an empty table and then this. It's why you'll see a lot of times some people will, like, if someone just doesn't show. Because that'll happen. Stuff happens, but sometimes people just don't show up. And then you're just there like, oh, do I move my set over? Do I expand on this? Because just looking at an empty table does look bad.
Oh, it looks absolutely awful. I've had a couple of cons where the person next to me just does not show at all. Mm-hmm. And I definitely do think that this does affect sales, because people see this empty space and they kind of maybe think, oh, maybe there's nothing to see over here. Yeah. And they just kind of you buy.
Because the big thing that I always talk about in a lot of my videos and stuff is I like to have hope in humanity, but sadly people are stupid.
Yes.
You would be very surprised how stupid some people can be. I think
you also asked me what else should they bring.
Oh right, I'm sorry, tangent. Go right ahead. Yeah, thank you.
You asked me what else should they bring, like, important stuff merch-wise. Get a cash box. I mean, that should be a given.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
If you, like, are, like, if you're planning, and you should, like, plan to take card transactions, get, like, a Square reader or, like, a PayPal reader or something like that.
They are not that expensive. A lot of people are like, not. Oh, they're really weird. I think the like, because I have an iPhone, so I don't have a headphone jack. I had to get the Bluetooth one. I think it was, like, less than $50 for mine. And for some people that might...
$50.
Yeah. For some people that might seem like a lot. I hate to be this person. If $50 is a lot for a con setup, you probably shouldn't be doing a con, because you would be really surprised how much just setup costs.
Yeah, no, like, I recently bought more display stuff because I've had to reconsider my display for, you know, COVID reasons.
Yeah, I gotta make it friendly.
To keep people from, like, having to touch so much stuff, so I've, like, figured out different ways to, like, change up my setup, so I've had to buy a bunch of new stuff, and it is well over $50 to get, like, everything for a con display.
Oh yeah, and I would also recommend, I don't know how you feel about this, but I would not, at least for the first couple cons, put the price of the setup into your overall flow, because that's stuff that's going to be paying off slowly. Because if that's the case, you're probably not going to break even for a few cons if you're, like, taking all of your setup into account from ground zero.
No, I completely agree with that. I did not really account in for my like setup or like display
Mm-hmm.
items
Because
being part of my break even.
yeah, because while you can save a lot of money, at least for me, my break even is because I'm a boppy when it comes to doing cons. I've only done 4. This will be my 5th one coming up in end of July, and so I currently only do cons that I can drive to because I have yet to make enough to warrant a hotel stay. So what I put into my float is price of the ticket, like price of the table, any things that I need to get for the con. So by that I mean like if I'm getting like new charms or like new sticker paper or something like new stuff, not my old stuff, and food, and that's kind of my break even currently. Oh well, plus gas, I guess. I should have put that in
Yeah,
there.
I include gas as
Yeah,
well.
definitely include gas. I was silly on that, but there's a lot of things, especially people who do travel for cons. You have to make it worth the travel. You know, gas, hotel, food. Because I've seen some other people on YouTube, I won't name names, but they've like openly admitted that they never made like any money off of a con. They just do it for fun, and I'm like, that is terrible advice. Please
That
stop
is so
telling
bad.
people that.
No.
That is really bad.
No.
I'm happy, and I'm like, I'm happy you're in a good place, and I do mean this well to that artist, that you are in a good place to just afford to not make money at a con, but many people cannot do that. So, please don't give that advice to people.
Yeah, no, absolutely do not. Like, if you're going to a con, like, please go to make money
Yeah.
because you spend money to get there. You spend money to make your merch, and you
Your
spend time.
time.
Like, it's so valuable. Your time is so
Oh,
valuable.
it
Please.
yeah, it really, really is. But I would say, what would you think would be a good merch thing, like a good just basic merch thing that every artist should kind of have?
Stickers.
Thank you so much.
Stickers.
Stickers or buttons? I tell it to everybody.
Yes, like I want to say like the bulk. I can't even give like an actual percentage, but like it's just so much of my sales at cons, and even in my online store, my stickers are my most successful pieces of merch. Like
Well,
everything else gets bought, but the stickers get bought so much more often.
oh yeah, that's something that like I
Quick, easy buy.
that's I think that's the big thing too, because a lot of people, especially going into it, a lot of people assume that a lot of people going to cons just have mountains of money. Realistically, they don't. Most people do not have a lot of money when they go to a con.
Yeah,
So
like these people are walking around in like cosplays that they've like spent hundreds of dollars on, and like they're having to buy the expensive con food as well, and they had to buy the con ticket. These people probably are strapped for cash, and like if you have an easy thing that they can pay easily, like something between $1 to $5 for it, it's so valuable.
oh
Like,
yeah.
just having an easy buy, an easy thing to buy at your table is just so valuable.
Oh yeah. Also, I know this is something that I didn't write down, but I think it's kind of important because I remember this happened to you one year. And if you are a part of the Alphabet Mafia, like we both are in
Woo
this call,
woo.
and many artists are, sadly to say, there are some disgusting people that go to anime cons.
Of course. Oh, I have
'Cause
stories.
I know I was gonna say I remember one very clearly where I think it was 2 guys because they like gave you their IDs to look at your spicy works, and didn't you say something where they were like, oh wait, is this some gay or something
Yeah,
along those lines, and they were just surprised.
Yeah, I've had a couple, like, I want to say maybe, like, I can count on one hand, like, this has happened to me. Like, I want to say, like, 3 times, but anytime it happens, it's just like, come on, please go the fuck away.
Yeah.
But, I want to say, like, the first time it happened, this guy, he like gave me his ID, and I was like, hey, you can like flip through it and see if it's something you like. And he flipped through it, and he was like, oh, this kind of stuff disgusts me. When like literally on the cover it shows two guys kissing, and on the back of the cover it says, this is for this, this has queer representation. Like,
was it
already said it.
If I could ask, was it the sketchbook or the little comic one?
It was the little comic first.
Okay.
Blue, but I have had comments about the little sketchbook as well. Like, somebody passed by my table, and they looked at the cover, and it's like a cover of a sexy dude. He's like kind of showing his goods a little bit. It's not like full nudity, but he's clearly, displaying a little bit. And so this dude, and here's the funny part, this dude was wearing one of those like a Hagao like hoodies.
I did not know that. Wait, really? Oh, that
Yes.
makes it so much worse. I don't know why that
so
makes that
much
worse.
worse.
That is so much worse. Anyway,
He
keep going.
He was wearing that, and he came by, and he was like, could you have made this cover any more awkward? And I just stared at him deadpan, and I said yes. And he walked away without saying a word.
Sir! Oh my god. Okay, real quick, tangent, but I need to bring this in. I always thought those Ahigo shirts were a meme until I worked at Anime Con. I'm like, oh no! People wear those. They're
them,
real.
Like, unironically. Yep.
God. Oh, I guess that is something. I didn't write that down, but I think it's important. Advice for people selling not safe for work art, because you sell not safe for work art at cons. That's a really important one. I don't know why I didn't write that down.
Always bag, like, so I sell not safe for work comics. I know some people sell not safe for work prints. I'm not really sure how people handle that, but I don't sell not safe for work prints. I kind of have seen people like put like sticky notes over,
I've seen the
like,
sticky notes. Yeah, I've seen the sticky notes, or they have them all wrapped, and on like the wrapping, it has like smiley face stickers or something on it to cover the naughty bits. I know Holly and I didn't sell any, but Holly had a not safe for work comic, and she had a bunch of cat stickers that she had to use as censor bars. Yeah, I still have it. I still have the meow edition, as we called it, because it was really, really funny. But because you are allowed at some cons, you are allowed to sell not safe for work art, but there are very strict rules behind it. So Vexy, if you please, sorry for interrupting.
No, you're fine. For my comics, I bag them. I bag all of my not safe for work comics, and I have them like all on a rack. So I always card people if they're interested in purchasing them. If they're interested in looking like at a preview, obviously I card first, and like I have an unwrapped copy behind the table, and I like give it to them for them.
It's
to,
your
like, kind of
copy.
flip through. Yeah, it's like my display copy, and they're allowed to like flip through it, and they're usually kind of trying to make sure there's no like children around to sort of like peer over their shoulders or anything, but like always card. And actually, if you do not card, and this person is a minor and you sell it to them and like they go to the cops or like a parent is angry about it, you can get filed as a sex offender.
Really? Oh, I actually
Yes.
didn't know that. I knew you'd get like banned or a fine. I did not realize it was that serious.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so very much, if you do it at all, card, most definitely. Almost all the websites I've looked at for anime cons applying say you need to card, but wow, now that I know that, yeah, definitely don't try to make a buck. Follow the rules.
Yes. Please do card.
Also, even if the person, I would say follow the rules. I worked at retail. I know Vexy has as well. But follow the rules of retail. Even if you very much know that they are an adult, card anyway. Just be safe. Better safe than sorry. Because I remember when I used to work at a certain superstore, our cashiers would literally lock out, and I'd have old people getting mad at me because they're like, do I look like I'm under 21? And I'm like, no, but my job says I have to, sir, so I have to scan your ID. So follow the rules of retail. Even if you can tell they're very much older, better safe than sorry.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Anything? Oh! I guess one more thing, and then we can go into the last question I have. Because I know it's been a while. Thank you, Vexy, for your time. But
Of course.
I would like to know, because I've heard of this a lot, because I have only sold 2 art books at cons, and I haven't done as many as you because you sell comics. Is the rumor true that there are some people who will just read, like, your entire comic at your table and not buy it? Or they'll try to? Is that true? I just need to know if that's true, because I've heard about it, and I'm like, that's not a thing, is it? Because, like, my friends have big chonkers, so... Has that happened?
Oh, man. Yes, it has happened, and I actually have a little story about that.
Oh, by all means, pop off. That's what this is for.
I want to say this was, like, Anime Matsuri. This was, like, after I got my second book done. I had someone come to my table, and, like, they were flipping through the book, and they
wait,
like,
this is, real quick, this is the big one, right? The, like, well over, like, 300-page one?
No, so,
okay.
It's the second chapter of that one.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Before I did the big volume, I had 2 chapter books, and then I decided, okay, I need to just, like, print one big volume. So this guy, he's, like, asking to, like, he's asking me for one of my chairs behind my table so he can sit down.
Wait, he asked for your chair? He asked for your chair?
Yes.
He asked for your chair?
Yes.
I did not know this. Oh my god.
Yep.
Did he get the chair?
My chair. No, I was like, no. And I kind of just silently stood there and, like, let him kind of flip through it a little bit, because it was just, like, it was super awkward. It was so awkward. And then I've known people who have actually sort of, like, taped, they have, like, a preview copy.
I've seen that, where
like,
they'll tape or paper clip it. I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, to, like, keep people from reading further.
That's
and being
so
like,
sad.
hey.
That's so sad that people have to do that. But this is what I'm talking about, where you would think, I hate being that person, you would think people have common sense. But they don't. You'd be surprised. Alright, let's see. My last question, and then we can wrap it up where you can give yourself a shout out. Like I said, I will have your social medias down below, but if you want to promote anything after that, my last question is, any tips for new con goers? Like, I would say, like, basic bare bones, like, baby's first con tips.
Baby's first con tips. Once again, bring a friend. I stated that at the beginning. Absolutely bring a friend. Don't be too hard on yourself if things don't go well at your first con. I've been doing conventions since 2016. It's been a learning process the entire time. I've changed my con setup dozens of times. I've changed my prices a few times to, like, match my output. And, you know, make sure you're selling things based on what you think you're worth, not what you think everybody else is going to, like, purchase it for. Like, I know not everybody does, you know, comics or prints or stickers. Some people might do plushies. Some people might do, like, I'm making mugs now. Like, some people might make mugs or anything like that. Like, price yourself what you are worth. I understand that, like, you could be starting out with doing artist alleys, but make sure you value your time and your money and whatever heart and soul that you put into your work, because you are worth it. And, you know, make friends while you're at cons also. Like, if you, like, you're gonna have table neighbors, like, talk to your table neighbors. There's
it would be so lonely. I'm gonna be honest. The first San Japan, because how it worked with us was, I was sitting on the corner, so I was by Vexy, Holly was by the other artists. So, like, if we hadn't have talked, because Holly was really busy our first year, I think that, like, I probably would have just sat there for, like, 12 hours and been like, oh, alright, I'm just here. So yeah, it's very important to talk to people. There will be some rude artists, you can't escape that. But you will be surprised how buddy you can get super fast.
Yeah, no, I'm really grateful that I met Michi and Holly during San Japan, and I'm still friends with a lot of people that I met at cons. Like, my very first con, I'm still friends with my table neighbor, and we still, like, chat and ask each other, like, hey, what con are you gonna be at?
Oh, that's
hey,
great.
Do you wanna be neighbors? And, like, it's so valuable. Like, make friends at cons. Like, seriously, like, some people will just, like, sit there silently, and honestly, I don't think cons are for people who are, like, straight up introverts and will not talk to people, because you have to be able to sell your products. Like, if you're just gonna sit there with your sketchbook or your Switch or 3DS or something or your phone and not talk to anybody, you probably should not be there. Like, I don't want to be mean.
No,
like,
you are completely right. You're completely right, because here's the problem. Even if your artwork is good, if you are not personable, you will not be making as many sales. Because sadly, you do need to be charismatic and to promote yourself. You need to be a real to worker for your own crap, pretty much. Plus, you will also have a lot of people that, like, don't don't know a lot of things. So you'd be surprised. I know when I did Anime Impulse back in 2020, early 2020, didn't break the rules. I wasn't one of those people. But what ended up happening was before I got my baby Doris, my beautiful big printer, I could only print on basic printer paper. So my stickers were very, very, very cheap because I could not do vinyl, I could not do heavy duty. So I had them be like $1 a sticker. That was already a steal for what they were. And I had a bunch of people who would come up to my booth and be like, oh my god, you are like the only person here that has $1 stickers. And I explained, I'm like, oh, well, a lot of people now are using waterproof vinyl, doing this and that. Mine's cheap sticker paper. And they were like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. I never would have thought. I'm like, oh yeah, because with vinyl and stuff, you can like slap it on your car or that. Mine, you can put it on a sketchbook. Originally, like I said, now I have weatherproof, waterproof vinyl. And I love, beautiful. It's you can't go back. I will admit, once you start getting a taste of the nice stuff, you're like, oh, I can't go back to how I used to do things. But I think that's also important to talk to people. One of my best memories was getting to talk with a bunch of the Fire Emblem fans at Anime Impulse, because I'm a big Fire Emblem fan. And I know I saw, at least from the cons I worked with Vexy, when people ask them stuff that they are like really passionate about, Vexy can go off. And it's fun to do that. And then you will often also get people who will buy your merch. You will also get table lurkers, though. There's no way to avoid that, so...
Oh yeah, booth barnacles you cannot avoid. Like
booth barnacles is that one? I've only called them table lurkers. I've never heard of booth barnacles. I like that. I like booth barnacles.
Yeah, booth barnacles. People just kind of like stick around and just they eat. They might buy something, but sometimes most of the time they don't.
Yeah.
But I started being a little silly about it, and I started like making like tally marks to see how many booth barnacles I get during.
That's
the con.
good. Well, that's something else you gotta do. You gotta be able to take the punches and laugh at yourself too. So like that makes sense, you know.
Yeah, and some people actually even do artist alley bingo. Like I've seen
really
them floating around.
Oh, I'll have to definitely look into that. That sounds like fun.
And I think one more thing, be personable, talk to your customers, like greet them. I try to greet everybody who comes by. It I kind of sound like a broken record whenever I'm like at a con, because I'm always like hello, hi, like over and over. And sometimes by the end of the con, my voice is gone. But I try
most
to,
definitely
like, talk to everybody, like greet everybody, even if they're just like walking past, they don't even stop. I always say hi. And this is something I personally do. I know this isn't a thing that everyone can do because not everyone has the stamina.
Is it the standing? Because I've noticed you stand at you stand at like all of your. I remember being like, oh my god, they are just going. They have been standing this whole time.
Yep. I always stand because it keeps you at eye level with your customers. And I think having, that face-to-face contact with your customers is so important. But I understand if not everyone can do that because either, they might not have, the mobility to do so or, the stamina to do so. But I stand at every single con I'm at. Every single con. And I definitely think, that helps a lot.
Yeah. Also, I think a quick tips, just to wrap it up real quick, would be also double check if your con that you applied for has a table. I always assumed that cons just gave you a table. I learned that the hard way. Not all of them will. If they're a cheaper con, sometimes they're like, all right, you need your own table and chairs. So that's something you're going to want to look into.
I think it's also a good idea to buy your own table, period. I know that Walmart, they sell some nice foldable 6-foot tables, and I actually keep mine and use for mock displays when I'm at home. So if
that's really smart. That's really smart. So you could practice at home. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good thing to just have.
Yeah.
And even if like there's a con that says, oh, you have to bring your own table. Well, there's your table.
Yeah. Now you have a table. That's really smart. So that is really, really good advice. I think that wraps up everything. So, Vexy, why don't you send us off where you promote whatever you want to promote, give up your social medias, yada, 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 go.
So, I am pretty much on everything. I am on YouTube as Vexingly Yours. I am on Instagram and TikTok as Vexingly.yours. I am on Twitter as Vexingly Yours. And I have 3 webcomics, and I also run a webcomic collective. My webcomic collective is Wool Wolf Comics. And my 3 webcomics are Forgotten Roots, What's Under My Bed, and launching tomorrow on June 22nd. This is probably going to date the video a little bit.
Oh, it's fine. No, it's fine. It means it'll be out when the video comes out, so they can read it when it'll come out.
Hell yeah. So Love at First Fright. It will be out on June 22nd, but the first 3 episodes will be up probably by the time this video is up. You can find it on both Tapas and Webtoon, and I am super excited to have been able to talk to you, Mitchie. Thank you so much.
I know, it's been great. Thank you so much for your time, Vexy, and I want to thank my patrons for making this kind of stuff possible. Love you guys so much. Thank you as always for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, guys!